Hello everyone, I'm James Hollywood Machikari and this is Biker Angle 726, and today we have a lot going on in the news right now, especially one bunch of fucking freaks couple that used to belong to BACA, that's Bikers Against Child Abuse, that have just been charged with heinous child abuse on them. So it's kind of freaking how can we say it here? Bunch of bullshit, and hopefully somebody goes medieval on these motherfuckers. But anyway, let's get into it. Williamson County, Texas. The couple allegedly behind what law enforcement describe as a heinous and outrageous case of child abuse were active members of the Williamson County chapter of the Bikers Against Child Abuse. Williamson County authorities have confirmed to KVUE and Austin American-Statesman reporter Tony Pulaski. Shirley Rodriguez now faces 13 counts and Daniel Rodriguez now faces 10 counts of various charges including indecency with a child, injury to a child, and assault and continuous violence against a child. The victims involved in the case were foster children, according to law enforcement officials. Documents detailing the allegations referring to the children using the initials. KVUE previously reported the couple was charged with 2 counts of an indecency with a child. Those charges stem from an affidavit in which a child, identified as RR, told police that on or around October 15, 2017, Shirley Rodriguez touched the children inappropriately while both of them were naked in the shower. The document goes on to say that while Shirley was doing this, Daniel would stand in the bathroom in a rebellion manner and stare at Shirley Rodriguez and the child, who was 15 at the time. Additional documents obtained July 24th show that the pair are accused of similar behavior involving 2 other children who were 13 and 11 at the time of the incidents in 2017. The 11-year-old victim, identified in the documents as ER, said Daniel Rodriguez would watch him with Shirley Rodriguez in the shower via video call on many occasions, the affidavit said. The 13-year-old and ER told authorities that in 2017, Shirley Rodriguez repeatedly assaulted, withheld food, and force-fed them while they were in their care. Documents said she would strike them in the face, knocking them to the ground at her home. Authorities SR is now suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, while ER is now suffering from a lower form of post-traumatic stress disorder. According to the affidavit detailing an injury to a child charged, officers were able to find video from Daniel Rodriguez's home surveillance system, which recorded several months of activity within the home. Video recorded on October 10th, 2017 allegedly shows Daniel Rodriguez striking SR in the face as he walked by her, causing her head to snap back. The victim told police that when her adoptive father would assault her, it caused her pain, according to the affidavit. You know what? Hearing stories like that, these fucking pieces of shit, child molesting fucks, you know what? They don't deserve no mercy. None at all. You know what? You find them guilty at trial, you take them out in the middle of town square, and you get medieval on their fucking asses. You know what? Disembowel them fucking pieces of shit. You know, they're weak. They're weak people. You know what? They get off on fucking hurting kids. And this video ain't supposed to have all the swearing and stuff, but shit like this really irritates the fuck out of me. And, you know what? BACA is an awesome organization. They have nothing to do with this. And, you know what? I'm sorry to see that this happened to BACA, but with all the good stuff that they do. But take these son of a bitches out there in the public square and, you know what? Get medieval on their asses. Make it a slow, painful, freaking death. Anybody that hurts a kid or takes advantage of a kid, you're weak motherfuckers. Plain and simple. You're nobodies. You don't deserve to be treated like humans. So, here's my hope, since, my way wouldn't be done by, the legal system and stuff. I hope when you get behind bars that you're somebody's bitch, and that every day that you're behind bars, you're tortured. Or, you know what? Get a slow death by the inmates. So, wherever you're going, you son of a bitches, hopefully you get what's coming to you. Pieces of shit. Unreal. Anyway, next. This one from the Washington Post. The motorcycle gang called it the church meeting. A cute way of saying wrapped up around business dealings federal prosecutors would later argue were racketeering level criminal felonies. It was held each week. They collected at the Mesa Clubhouse, a murky bar space like where a jukebox leaked Steppenwolf. Closed blinds hid the sun, and a 12-foot death head mural spread across the wall. According to a former member, when the door was bolted shut, the Hells Angels inside fine-tuned various schemes, including meth sales. Indictments would later charge. The gatherings drew a hard crowd. Tattooed hog riders with the quick triggers for violence, including, strangely, a local Charles Schwab stockbroker. Before you go on, you can tell straight up that this is a liberal freaking snowflake writing this column, man. It's all about sucking up to the cops in this article. Let me tell you, before reading this one, man. Anyway, when the serious talk was done, the party started, the Arizona Republic reported in 2005. On October 27, 2001, as the post-meeting cracked into high gear, a prospective Hells Angel was ordered to find some girls. He returned with Cynthia Garcia. As she partied with the Angels, the 44-year-old mother of 6 began talking trash about the club and its members. When the wisecracks kept flying, the Hells Angels allegedly started beating Garcia. An arrest warrant affidavit written by the ATF agent would later claim they allegedly stomped her with their boots as she lay on the clubhouse floor. They loaded the semi-conscious woman into the trunk of a car. They motored off into an Arizona desert. Garcia's body was found on Halloween. She had been stabbed nearly 30 times, and her killers had tried and failed to cut off her head. 2 years after the murder, a federal investigation called Operation Black Biscuit bulldozed into the Mesa chapter of the Hells Angels. More than a dozen members were indicted on federal criminal charges, including drug trafficking and conspiracy. The investigation also prompted murder charges against 2 Hells Angels associates for Garcia's death. One of the alleged killers, Paul, I can't even say his last name, didn't stick around for his day in court. He allegedly hacked off his ankle monitor and disappeared overseas, the Phoenix Times reported. 15 years after fleeing, Paul returned to Arizona last week in handcuffs to face charges related to Garcia's death. According to the statement from the U.S. Marshal Service in 2011, the fugitive was tracked down in Buenos Aires, where he was living with an Argentine wife and son. For the last 7 years, Paul has fought his extradition to the United States, drumming up support in his adopted country. His legal options were recently all burned out. The 46-year-old is now being held in Arizona jail. His attorneys at the jail, the public defender, did not return a message for comment. The extradition is one of the unresolved legacies of Operation Black Biscuit. Although the investigation was celebrated for successfully drilling into the secretive world of a criminal motorcycle gang, the operation also was targeted by critics as an example of government overreach. Paul, however, was unlike his co-defendants. He alleged criminal activity was complemented by a life in the straight world. By night, a motorcycle gang member. By day, he was a Charles Schwab stockbroker. The squeaky clean semen side of his split personality was partly the reason Paul was able to escape in 2004. Quote, he was usually handsome, he was charming, he was articulate because he was a former stockbroker, Kerry Drobin author of the book on the Hells Angels case, told azfamily.com. He was very disarming that way, and that was one of the reasons he was construed as so dangerous. Strip off the white-collar veneer of the finance world, and a different Paul emerged. Thick-set at 5'5" and 190, his chest, back, and arms were swirled over the tattoos, according to the photographs contained in court documents. The body art included a Hells Angel death head insignia, Hellbound 666, stretched over his lower back, his surname arched over his belly in Gothic ink. Originally from Council Bluffs, Iowa, Paul left the state in the 1990s. The local newspaper reported in 2004. By 2001, he was a prospective member of the Mesa chapter. DA stated, not yet all an official as Hells Angel, but working his way into the ranks. But the stockbroker already earned a reputation in the gang. You can tell. It's written by a freaking lefty, let me tell you. They eventually tracked him down to Buenos Aires. He was arrested in 2011, and finally he put some weight on, had a goatee with a beard down to his chest, and he shaved his head. U.S. Marshals officials said in the statement. So, moving on to our last story of today. Maze Landing. Across a thick panel of stretched glass lined with chip and blue paint. Freddie Angelo, charged with murder in the 2012 killing of April Kaufman, picked up a black phone from inside the Atlantic County jail and began to speak. Angelo, 62, of Upper Township, is the alleged Pagans motorcycle gang leader charged with the attempted murder of April's husband, Dr. James Kaufman, and with leading an alleged drug trafficking network. He's an adamant the Pagans are a club, not a gang, and that he retired years ago. On Saturday, 2 days before a county superior judge ruled in a gag order application by the state that aimed to silence Angelo and his Facebook postings ahead of trial. Angelo proclaimed his innocence to the press of Atlantic City during a 2-hour interview at jail. Quote, Kaufman is the person who set all this up, Angelo said, referring to Dr. James Kaufman, who was charged in 2012 murder for hire of his wife before he was found dead of apparent suicide. Angelo's brown eyes widened as he talked about James Kaufman's purported suicide note, calling it the ranting of a nut job. On Monday, the judge issued a gag for all parties in the case and said both sides' use of the media had negatively impacted the jury pool. So, basically, it's alright for the prosecutors to go out there and do it, but, the defense can't. But anyway, his social media accounts have been filled with posts talking about his innocence, citing false narratives from the prosecutor's office, excerpts from grand jury transcripts, and evidence that has not yet been made public. I must be doing something that they don't like, Angelo said Saturday. He's been in the jail since the January 9th arrest, and the county spokesman has said inmates do not have access to the internet from inside the jail. So, basically, it's everybody against Angelo because there was another case where a guy started to rat up, and you know what? It's rat when this all shit goes down and stuff like that. On Motorcycle Madhouse this Saturday, you're gonna, IOTC posted up a good section of conversation on this kind of stuff. But with that, thanks guys for being a part of the Biker Angle, and I'll talk to you later, man. That's your day's news.